Hey you, come on, sit down. You're sitting at the grown-ups table. I'm your host, Jesse Pimpinella, and as always, my partner in crime,
John Jacobs.
Thank you very much. And right now, thank you so much for watching. Right now, this is our Spooktacular special, part one.
Yes!
Morticia and Gomez, it's going to get crazy. And Nightmare on Elm Street, follow your dreams.
I love that shirt. I apologize, guys. I worked all day and didn't change into one of my horror shirts. But if I could, I would be wearing a Jason Voorhees shirt. Not because it's my favorite, just because he's a badass.
And if you're not wearing a horror shirt right now watching this, here's how you can make it up to us. Share the live feed. Definitely. Share it right now. Share it with your friends because we got a big show ahead of you. For tonight's tribute, we're talking about slashers. Shing, shing.
Gut those motherfuckers. I want to see people killed in the most creative ways possible.
I wanted to get very, very crazy. I want a death that's not supposed to happen, but it happens anyways. I'm talking, and let me tell you something. There are so many amazing slashers. Amazing slashers. But before we start talking about that, why do we love slashers? Why?
Tell us, Jesse. You start. I want to hear your sick and twisted mind first before I let everybody know how fucked up I am. So
very good. Because you know why? Because it's a guilty pleasure. Absolutely. It's like a game hunt between a hunter and the prey. And the prey could be horny teenagers, horny babysitters. It could be parents who wronged a property manager of a school or whatever his job was. Freddy Krueger, what was he? I don't know.
He wasn't he just like a guy who liked to kill kids, and then in the remake they actually made him into a child molester. Like, it was weird.
Yes, but point is, you know, it's a slasher movie. It's one of those only times where the movie, where the antagonist could be pretty much our protagonist. We're watching somebody.
Yes.
It's this weird voyeurism. It's watching him kill in the most craziest ways, whether it's pinning their back against a telephone pole and ripping their arms off.
I love it. Look at the grin on my face, man. You're speaking my language. Let's kill these people.
Yes, or grabbing someone watching a TV and shoving them right inside the TV screen, Freddy Krueger right there. Or just a simple, I show up in a ghost with glasses on, and I hope you think I'm your boyfriend. Whatcha! Stab you, Michael Myers. I love that Michael Myers knew to put the glasses on.
Oh yeah, look, the guy was super. Everyone thought he was like a big, dumb, gentle giant. Meanwhile, he was sitting in that padded room for like 20 years just contemplating. The guy taught himself how to drive. Remember, they're like, how did he learn how to drive? I don't know. Maybe someone taught him. I mean, the dude was resourceful. So why wouldn't you expect him to be able to, fake her out with a disguise? I mean, the guy was really smart. And he took bullets and didn't die.
My fiance and I have we have a theory that Loomis taught him. 10 and 2, baby. 10 and 2. All right? Like, Michael, 10 and 2. 10 and 2.
We got to do it like Malcolm McDowell did when he's like, Michael. Like, anytime he said, he would be like, Michael. I mean, I love the guy. Love him to death. And I love Zombie's first Halloween remake. But, man, hearing Malcolm McDowell for 2 hours, Michael, you're just like, Jesus, man, go back to Caligula or something.
but here's the thing. He was a great cast for that. He was
I totally agree. I do not deny that one bit.
He was. But anyways, so now let's hear why you love slashers, and make sure people comment and tell us why you like slashers.
So I like slashers because I'm probably fucked up in the head. Let's just be honest. There's something about the escapism, and I'm sure if anybody has a psychology major watching, they're probably going to start dissecting my psyche, but there's something about it to me that it's not real. It's an escape. And it's kind of like why I like gaming. It's why I'm so into films and filmmaking and entertainment like you and I do. That the whole concept of somebody watching somebody else do something and living through that, no matter what degree of that experience, it's fascinating to me that that's what we find entertaining. Now, some people do, and some people don't. I know plenty of people who just don't like watching movies. I briefly dated a girl like 20 years ago that was like that. It clearly didn't last long.
I wouldn't imagine.
Some people don't like horror. Some people don't like gore. Some people don't like slashers. Some people don't like scary. Some people don't like sappy. I mean, everybody's got a thing, right? For me, slashers is my thing. And my wife, that was the first thing that like drew us together when we first started talking, was that we love slasher films and horror films in general. And to be honest, I fall asleep watching them.
Well, me too.
I mean, last night I was watching one of my favorite horror films of all time, and this was based off of the conversation I had with my man Stephen Barber the other day, was High Tension, and we're going to talk about that film later. I fell asleep halfway through. I mean, I've seen it 100 times. I can quote.
I know.
But I woke up to the like title screen. I'm like, oh my God, you know, like, so, but my thing is I like to escape in the absurdity. I like to escape into the fantasy. And then I like the concept of the dark fantasy. This is not me escaping into Alice in Wonderland. This is me escaping into Silent Hill, right? I just love seeing how creative a director can kill somebody on camera and then how good it looks. Because I'm not out there gutting people with a knife. I'm not like ripping people's heads off. You know, I'm not dumping people headfirst into a vat of toxic waste. You know, I'm not pushing someone's head into liquid nitrogen and then smashing it on the ground. I'm not doing these things because that's not me. I'm not a psychotic killer, but I sure as fuck like watching people do it because I'm probably fucked up in the head. But it's just entertaining for me. I want to watch the story about the troubled soul that just fell into the biggest shit of life, that the person turned into a psychotic killer and stalked X group of people for some arbitrary reason that nobody else would even care about. And to see how creatively we can kill all these stupid people that make stupid decisions in this movie that end up entertaining me. If I see someone fucking and smoking a joint and then they get stabbed together through a bed and killed, that does something for me. I'm just saying. So for me, I like it. Like it appeals to me. I find it entertaining, and I know that's messed up, and I know someone's going to be like, John, you're fucked up. And yeah, I am, clearly. But it just does something for me entertainment wise. And I've always been into them as a kid. From when I watched the first Halloween on TV when I was 5 years old, and it scared the shit out of me. Same thing with Friday the 13th, Freddy movies. Even though they were on TV, when you're a little kid and you're watching them, it scares the shit out of you. But then you build up that tolerance. And once you build up that tolerance, you start exploring into, well, how fucked up can you go?
It's a weird... Eli Roth and Stephen King talked about this. They were talking about fear and how it's something almost fetishized in the fact that like you seek it out. Like you seek out fear, which is something that most people go their whole lives trying to avoid. But we seek it. We pay for those crazy haunted houses that they mess with you because we seek it. We watch a scary movie that's going to wreck our ability to sleep because we seek it. It's insane. But
it's a form of like self-punishment, but you get some type of, it's almost masochist because then you get something out of punishing yourself until you get to a point where you get desensitized from it, and then it like becomes your normal, and you're like, wow, that didn't even faze me when I saw that. Maybe I've gone too far. Nope, just means I need to go further.
All right, our buddy Ryan is commenting McCamey Manor.
McCamey Manor. So real quick, let me give my piece on this. Ryan and I have a long history with Russ McCamey. I still follow Russ. I do like what he's doing. I'm not going to comment anything negative whatsoever. Russ has a very unique haunted attraction experience. If you're interested in finding it out, just follow him on Facebook and you'll be brought up to speed. That's all I'm going to say about it because I'm not getting involved. But Ryan, thank you for bringing that up because it is a very, very unique experience. And if someone is interested in that and really putting themselves to the test on what they can handle, both horror and psychological when it's happening to you personally, because Russ customizes the haunt for you and you have to sign a 13-page legal waiver that says they can touch you and mess with you and do all this stuff. So it's a very intense, unique thing. And I'm just going to say that if anybody is interested in that experience, look up McCamey Manor /Russ McCamey and have your experience with him, and report back to us on how it went. I'd love to hear if any of our viewers have either done McCamey Manor or if they do McCamey Manor. We definitely want to hear about that.
I love it. And Ted, you got to go to a haunted house, whether it's a legit one or a regular one. Just go to it. It's so much fun. It's a blast. But we got to move on to our next segment. We got to talk about Wiki-What. Wiki-What? Slashers. What is it? What makes a movie a slasher? Well, there's a ton of things that make a movie a slasher. So first off, let's just give it the main definition. It's a killer murdering a group of people, usually with a bladed tool, whether it's a machete, a knife.
I love that. It's awesome.
Yeah, whether it's a blade, a knife, a machete, a chainsaw, whatever it may be. And there's so many common tropes to it. You have the final girl, which is the lone girl that survives the killer at the end of the movie. Jamie Lee Curtis is Laurie Strode, the queen, in my opinion. And that formula, the final girl thing, has been changing up. And I think the two movies that have changed that and kind of flipped it, because most horror movies follow the main villain throughout the whole movie. But the two that flipped it was Evil Dead and Scream, which followed a protagonist in every movie, while the monsters always kind of changed identities in a weird way. Like the Evil Dead would always change between demons and people and people and people, while Scream, Ghostface, the slasher always changed. There was always a different identity.
But with Scream, it was always Sydney as the final girl. Well, at least Scream 1 through 3, and then we stop at that because 4 was stupid. It was Scream 4 was fucking dumb, dude. The whole thing was, I'm a high school girl and don't know what I want to be when I grow up. Let me start killing people. The dumbest fucking movie ever. Scream 3 was fucking dumb too. When they I got this long lost brother because my mom was a whore in Hollywood. And fuck that. All right, Scream 1 and 2, fine. Scream 2 pushed it a little bit with having Aunt Jackie as the killer. I was a little like,
that was so weird.
That was very weird when she showed up. I'm like, Aunt Jackie's the killer?
What is
Aunt Jackie doing in this movie? But the one thing about Evil Dead, though, is Evil Dead doesn't have a final girl. It's always Ash. His girl always gets killed. And then Evil Dead 2 is like the soft reboot kind of. The two girls, Ash's girl, and then I forget the daughter of the older couple, they both died. So Ash was always the hero in the end of those.
Well, Ash is when I say final girl, and I should have probably prefaced this better, the final girl, I was using that more as a term because it could occasionally be occasionally a man. Much like Freddy, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, which had Jesse being the final girl, but guy. So final girl is more of a term rather than actually it being a girl at times. Because there's times where it throws you right off, So so I should have been clear about that. But anyways, most of the time it's a final girl because most of the time it is a girl. Yes, but anyways. It started in the hardest start. I mean, okay, you can go back as far 1900s if you want to, okay, and identifying what a slasher is, the Tale of Sweeney Todd before it was a musical. You could go.
I'll give you that.
But the hardest start that most people agree on is Peeping Tom, which is an Italian film, and Psycho. Those were the hard starts to the slasher genre, not the perfection, just the entry, and
the components and the pieces that would eventually be put together to form kind of that slasher genre that we know now, which we talked about earlier. And even though
the golden age,
even though Psycho is more of a psychological thriller, we do have very, very many components of slasher films within that film. So, yes, I would agree that those had the components that then, what did we say? So there were two different ones, right? There was Canada and America. So 74 was Canada. That was the original Black Christmas with Margot Kidder. Fantastic film. I highly recommend everybody watch that film. The thing is the acting's not that great. Margot Kidder is pre-Superman, so she's really young and she's drunk the whole time. Not foreshadow for anything. Yeah. And the thing about Black Christmas, the original, because then at some point tonight I'm going to talk about the remake, is the way it's shot. the way that they set up those shots make you feel like you're in the house with them. And they do a lot of perspective shots. You get perspective of the killer, you get perspective of all the girls. And at first it's jarring because you don't know who you're looking at this through what lens. But when it starts to come together and make sense, you're like, whoa. So the film is just beautifully shot despite some of the issues that it has. But for America, we have 1978, which was John Carpenter's Halloween, which I would have to say objectively is still my number one favorite because it's Michael Myers. That's my dude. That's the original. That's the one I watched when I was a kid first. I love Michael Myers. I always have, even though half the films are shit. Doesn't matter. And that was that film and really Black Christmas were the ones to put all those components together. So the on-screen kills, the bladed weapon, the final girl, the tortured soul that has a past that you almost feel sorry for them as to why they're doing this. The tropes of people having sex and getting killed, people drinking, people doing drugs. You know, the final girl is always straight edge. She's trying to protect some kids. It's, you know, it's this whole thing. It's a legend, right? It's this thing in the neighborhood. All of these pieces are all part of modern day slashers from that point forward. But Halloween and Black Christmas were the two that really pulled it together for that initial kickoff of the golden age of slashers.
Exactly. Plus, as Ted puts it, it was the William Shatner mask.
Yes, Will Shat. Yes, absolutely.
Michael Myers, William Shatner before all of us did. Let's put that.
Fucking William Shatner. The fucker is knee deep in Twilight Zone history. The fucker is knee deep in Star Trek history, and the fucker's knee deep in horror history. What has this man not done yet? And like, he's an asshole, but he keeps getting into all these genres that will make him legendary well beyond when he dies. And I'm just
know to be a weekend at Bernie's at this point with him.
George Takei is going to outlive him. I'm calling it now, but
easily.
I'm just saying. So, anyways,
easily.
My man Leatherface on there. That's also it's actually really hard for me to pick between Leatherface and Michael Myers.
I can pick easily.
I mean, if we're talking character, it would be Michael Myers. If we're talking film, I might have to put original Chainsaw Massacre above Halloween, maybe.
Okay, I'll allow it because I do respect the fact that both movies are these indie directors that are just putting it together. You gotta love that.
String budget, all location, low budget, horrible working conditions. People were passing out and puking all over the set of Texas Chainsaw Massacre because they filmed it in like 110-degree heat in an abandoned farmhouse. Like everyone was getting sick, but you can see that in the films. The films look dirty. And when you watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you can almost see the heat and how hot it is in the film. And like that just adds so much to the immersion in the film. And that's a lot of what drives me into good slashers, because we all know what's going to happen. We've got whatever tortured soul is now killing people for X reason, and we're going to see how creatively they can get killed. But beyond that, it's what have you done to pull me into the universe? What have you done to make me care about what's happening? What have you done to make me feel like I'm there with them? And I feel like the more underground indie original films, Chainsaw Massacre, Halloween, is two positive examples. You feel that when you watch those films, and that's why it's just so great.
And I always say low budget causes the writing and the acting to kick it up. It causes it. Because you have to bring it. I mean, and so let's talk good slashers. So real quickly, I know this is the hardest, most loaded question I can give you. You got to give me your four Mount Rushmore slashers. Got to give it to me.
Okay, but and
people comment your four slashers.
Yeah,
comment your four,
because I see a lot of comments going on. So, Jesse, make sure we highlight some of these comments. We got a lot of people.
Let's highlight real quickly.
I don't know, Ted, if I would consider Alien a slasher per se. That's
subgenre,
sci-fi horror subgenre, but it could be, because technically that's what the Alien is doing. So it could be. I'm not saying it's not, but I look at that more of a sci-fi horror, more like how like Event Horizon is sci-fi horror. So
yeah, it basically branched out. It's a subgenre of a horror, because what happened was you had Jaws, which Jaws, believe it or not, is considered almost like a slasher. I mean, think about it like from a Michael Myers standpoint. You're seeing the shark's perspective at times. There's those voyeurism. You're kind of in the water with the shark. So, and how do they pitch Alien? You guys know how they pitched Alien? It's Jaws in space.
Well, it was okay. So it was two things. It was Jaws in space, and they pitched it as the alien fucks the person. That's literally how they pitched it in the studio.
That is true.
If you watch the interview, there's some interviews with the writers. If you watch the interviews, real quick, Tom, because I can't type and talk at the same time. Good slashers is the current topic we're on. Tom was going to join us on the show. It didn't quite work out for him schedule wise, but he's here in the comments with us, and he'll be commenting. We will get him on a future show, though. Tom loves horror films as well. But if you watch an interview with the writers, when they're talking about the creative process and how they wrote Alien, they were like, we need a gimmick. We need a gimmick to get this alien inside people. And the dude was like, how about the alien fucks the person? He was like, done. So
no, he doesn't just fuck them. He say it with me, everybody. Skull fucks them.
Yes.
That's the right word. He skull fucks them because it's called a face hugger, which is the most CG way of saying it. It's like you skull fuck. Shh. It's face hugging. It's face hugging.
Face hugging. So you mean skull fucking, right? Does the thing jizz in the mouth and then something grows from the jizz? Yes. Okay. Got skull fucked.
It would. You know what? That movie could have got NC-17 if you saw the throat pulsate.
There it is. There it is. Alien 40-year anniversary edition. The pulsating as the jizz goes inside.
There it is.
But we can't get John Hurt to refilm because regrettably he passed away a few years ago.
Sadly. But let's go over to, I know we still have to answer our Mount Rushmore, but let's get some of these people. Let's see. We got Halloween, Scream, The Facility. Ooh, Robert Rodriguez.
I love that with Elijah Wood. I love that movie.
There we go.
It's like a Body Snatchers type film. If anybody hasn't seen it, it's good.
Good. Robert Rodriguez is great with that stuff. Great. Yeah. Hellraiser, Halloween, Evil Dead. Ooh, there we go.
Yeah, Ted, there you go. For a guy who's never been to a haunted house, that's a solid list.
Maybe Phantasm. Yeah, no.
I agree totally. Not Phantasm 3, but yeah, Phantasm.
All right. So, what's your, give me your 4.
Okay. This is in no particular order because
not
order them. First Halloween, first Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Evil Dead 1. Yeah. We'll go with Evil Dead 1 and we'll go with Dead Alive.
Okay. For me, and like I said, and I don't want it because I was going to say Evil Dead 2, but I'm going to say this because this is how I truly feel. Because I treat this like it was cinema. The Evil Dead, Asher sees Evil Dead Season 2. That is like a fucking movie, and it's amazing.
It really is.
It is a movie. It's a movie. Scream 2, love the shit out of that movie. Scream 1 was great, but man, when they killed Randy, that broke my heart.
That was the only death I cared about. I was like, no.
And that's how you up the stakes. You got to. George R.R. Martin said you have to make the people fall in love with you and then break their fucking hearts, and that's what they did to me. Let's see. I'm gonna say Child Play 2.
Agreed, man. No, Child Play
2.
Fantastic.
I love this stepsister. I like that dynamic.
Ruler at school, dude. Come on, man. It's fantastic. He's like, Mrs. Grayson, you've been a naughty girl. I'm like, what is happening right now?
And then last but not least, I didn't even say Halloween yet, did I? Oh, God. Okay, I'm going to cheat. Halloween and then honorable mention, Freddy versus Jason, because what a beautiful way to bring those two together.
Yeah,
what a beautiful way.
Fair enough.
That is a beautiful way to bring those two together. I mean, they could have easily just been like Freddy and Jason bump into each other in a bedroom while killing somebody. But no, they actually had this weird Machiavellian reason that Krueger was bringing Voorhees into this all. Brilliant shit.
I do have to add my honorable mention since you did it as well.
Yeah, you do it. I'm sorry, I cheated.
It's okay. My honorable mention, and I know I'm going to get wrapped in the mouth from this from my friend Tim, but because he is a huge, huge Jason Voorhees fan. Mine's got to be Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, because it has three of the best kills in all of Friday the 13th. other than the sleeping bag kill, because I think we can all agree that's probably the best. But the 3 in Takes Manhattan, the frog spear kill at the beginning,
Oh yeah.
the Mortal Kombat Johnny Cage head punch on the roof, with the guy with the headband and like the all like American 80s workout clothing on, and he's like it's like Apollo Creed boxing to Jason. And then third, the teacher that gets turned upside down in the tub of toxic waste. Yes. So I love that, man.
I always loved at the end of that movie where I guess it was socially acceptable at midnight in the middle of Manhattan. The toxic sludge goes through the sewers.
Just no goddamn sense.
I don't even care. It didn't make sense.
No, exactly. I do not care at all because I sit there and I'm like, God damn, this movie's fantastic.
All right, Tom's giving us his.
What you got?
All right, we got Elm Street. We got Friday the 13th. We got Halloween. Sleepaway Camp.
Sleepaway. I told you people like that movie, Jesse. You don't believe me.
We'll talk. We'll talk soon about that. And then we got Rob Zombie's trilogy. All right. I like the first two. The third one was a hard watch. And I think it was because what's the one guy's name? Sid, when he died, I didn't realize how much he carried that franchise. Even though he was only barely in the first movie, and then he was in this, but he carried it. Dude was fucking funny. And he was twisted. I loved it. Oh, but yeah, no.
I agree with Tom. I kind of almost put those in their own thing because I am a huge House of a Thousand Corpses fan and Devil's Rejects. Yes, I agree. 3 from Hell is a little bit different, but I look at that as the same as I look to the second Jay and Silent Bob movie. That was the love movie. It was made from love.
Yeah.
Made for the fans. It was made to give a full wrap-up closure, even though technically part 2 ended everything, but nonetheless. So I'm okay with it, even though it was a little different. I'm good with that because I understand what they were trying to do, so I'm good with that. But yeah, House of a Thousand Corpses, Jesus, I've probably seen that movie 1,000 times. I'm not gonna lie.
Child Play, really? Oh, Ted, you don't like Child Play?
Ted's not a Chucky fan, man.
Oh, there that is a classic showdown right there. The tree trimmer right to the freaking eyes.
I totally forgot about that. Yes. Okay, so Ryan wants to hear about The Faculty real quick, and then we're going to move on to our next segment. Okay, Jesse? So, Faculty is a late 90s horror film, kind of invasion of the body snatchers meets My Teacher is an Alien, if anybody read those books in the 90s like I did. And it stars Elijah Wood. Josh Hartnett is in it. The main girl, Mia from Fast and Furious, is in it. Like, there's tons. Dude, my man Robert Patrick is in it. So,
yeah.
It's isn't Doris Roberts in it too? Like, I mean, it's a star-studded cast, man. And some of these people were in their prime, and some of these people were still up and coming. So it's a great period in kind of that late 90s Hollywood filmmaking time to see all these different actors and actresses. But yeah, it's an invasion of the body snatcher film on a high school scale, and it's not bad. I mean, it's not perfect, but I enjoy it. I don't know anybody that I engage with that ever says they hate it. It's just a fun movie to watch, and I enjoy it. It's good.
It's an indie movie. It's Robert Rodriguez. That's the guy. I mean, how can you not love him? The guy made an action movie on a budget of $7,500 allegedly. I mean, you gotta love him. And then on top of that, the sequel is better, even though you recasted the main guy for Antonio Banderas. But we'll talk about that another time.
That's a whole other episode.
Yes, that is a whole new. Hold on a second. Does anybody look at newer films being lesser than the older films? I'm so glad he brought that up because we will be talking about that in our next segment because we got to talk about our bad slashers.
Yeah.
So, Ted, you gave us the perfect segue. So before we share the link, I just got to put the alert out again. Share this link, baby. Get people to join in on the conversations.
Yeah. Share the live feed. Start a watch party on your Facebook. Bring your friends in.
Bad slashers. The only time you really get a bad slasher is, in my opinion, when you do a cash grab to an amazing good slasher.
Yeah, sure.
You do a carbon shit copy of another slasher, or you just miss the mark. You just miss the mark entirely in trying to do something that for me again, I you see for Rob Zombie, I wasn't a big fan of Rob Zombie. But I liked his first two movies, but like for me, From Hell, I didn't watch the rest of it. I got bored of it. But I'm not gonna say it's a bad slash.
You need to watch
I'm
31.
not a fan.
You need to watch 31. And you need to find the unrated one, which I don't even know if it exists, if they ever released it or not, even though they were going to. The rated R version's okay. I saw a sneak peek in the theater when it was a limited Fandango event, and it's fucking incredible. But you can tell they hacked it up, and we really need to find out if that unrated version was ever released or not.
Yeah. Oh, and Tom says many lack simple terror and too much graphics. I agree. Nowadays, people get too crazy and out of hand. Now, what?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. My bad.
I was gonna turn it over to you. Like,
okay.
What are your thoughts on it, and what do you consider? What movies do you consider to be bad?
So, there are plenty of bad slashers that exist simply because you can make a slasher on a very low budget, put it out either into theater or a mainstream DVD release straight to DVD, and you're guaranteed to make X money just simply because it's a slasher, and you know that there's a certain percentage of people that are by default going to either rent, pay for it, go see it, what have you. So they're not difficult films to make. These are not $300 million Marvel budget films, okay? These are like $20 million budget films, $15 million budget films.
20 is high. 20 is high end.
Maybe they have one famous actor, and that's why the budget's higher for that salary. But most
19 million for that one actor, and then 1 million for the rest of them.
But most of the time, they're like, B, C, D list actors, which is totally fine because I like seeing those actors too. I get tired of seeing mainstream actors all the time and everything. I like to get a variety, and I like to see people I've never ever seen, even if they're bad, because to me, they're putting themselves out there. They clearly impressed somebody in an audition, so they got the role. So they did something that 1,000 other people couldn't do. So yeah, let's see what you got. Even if it's bad, you're in a higher budget film than I've ever acted in or produced, and I've done too. So it's like I have no room to judge. If somebody is on a major release slasher film and it's terrible, who cares? They're already better than me, so I give them all the respect in the world. But that's enough about actors. Bad slashers for me typically are the cash grab sequels. Sequels can be good. Devil's Rejects is a great example because we delve deeper into those characters to the point where you're sad when they get shot at the end. And to me, if you can make me care about a piece of shit scumbag, you've won me over. Excellent writing. Thank you for doing that. But if we compare like franchise horror films, out of the 10 Halloween movies that exist in 3 different universes, how many of them are good? 3, maybe 4. I don't know. I mean, the rest are just throwaway. Same thing for we talked about for Nightmare on Elm Street. Look, I know I'm in the minority, but I fucking love Part 2. I don't care what anybody says. I love it. But after that, it's a no-go for me. Well, let me take that back. Dream Warriors has a little part in my heart. But after that, nothing until New Nightmare, which was fucking fantastic. And then they did the reboot, which, to Tom's point earlier when he was talking about CG ruining things, that's what happened. They took what people liked about Freddy and they tried to humanize it like Rob Zombie did, but it backfired because nobody gave a shit about Freddy, whether he molested kids or just murdered them or was just crazy. Nobody gave a shit. They just wanted to see him in people's dreams, killing them in their dreams. As soon as you added all that baggage, you stopped caring about Freddy, and then you're like, well, fuck that guy. I don't really care. And then
I didn't mind it too much.
And then they recreated specific scenes in the reboot to try to be like, hey, look, we're doing things to throw in nostalgia for you, like the Ghostbusters movie did. Well, there was an effect in the first Nightmare on Elm Street where Freddy pushes his face into the wall, and it was a practical effect. It took them a long time to set that up and perfect it, and it looked fucking great on camera. What did they do for the new movie? Let's just CGI it. Are you kidding me? Part of what makes horror, and then especially slasher, good is practical because it looks better.
I agree with that.
When you add CG death, CG blood, CG effects, CG weapons, even though, look, I'm not knocking computer graphics. They have their place. They are necessary. They're here to stay. They're evolving, and it's only going to get better. I'm not knocking that. But what I'm saying is is much like Star Wars. When you start to hump over and you're like, wait a minute, I can now do all this stuff computer, people notice it and it takes them out of the experience a little bit. And I felt like that Nightmare on Elm Street reboot did just that. But Friday the 13th didn't really do a reboot. They did like a reimagining type thing in like 2009 with Jared Padalecki before he hit it big.
They did like the first 2 movies pretty much. Or the first 3 technically, because he gets the mask in the third.
Yeah, they combined the first 3 into one cohesive story. And I'll be honest, it was actually good. I very much enjoyed it. Saw it in the theater. I own it on Blu-ray. They did a great job with that. But even the Friday the 13th franchise, once you get past the second movie, you get Corey Haim, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? And then you get fucking Crispin Glover, and you're like, man, what the hell is going on with this? Like,
what's Marty McFly's dad doing here?
Man, I'm just like, why is he in this movie? Like, it starts cash cowing, and I think that's what kills slashers. Now, there are certainly pure shitty slashers that come out. But in my opinion, even those, just like Quentin Tarantino always says, there's always a positive in every movie. If you can't pick out at least one thing positive, then you're not being objective. And I agree with that. Even the worst fucking movie ever made has something in it to where you're like, okay. But I really find myself scraping the barrel on most of the horror sequels because the budget goes down, the effects go down, the quality goes down. People stop caring because they're just there for the paycheck. I get it. It's a job, but it shows in the final product. And that's what disappoints me the most because I fall in love with Michael Myers and we have 10 other films and only 3 of them are decent. I'm like, what are we doing? You know?
Yeah.
That was a little long-winded, but that's my spiel on that.
No, I understand. I think, and we'll talk about this, Tom, real quickly, because it goes right into the bad slashers and how they're CGI. One of the movies Tom brought up was Hatchet, which we'll talk about for my offbeat section. Hatchet does a really good job in bringing back practical effects. Because I agree with you. I mean, I do, like I said, while I liked some elements of Nightmare on Elm Street, because of the reboot, because of the CGI, I agree. Yeah, it kind of kills it. I like seeing that splatter. I love seeing splatter. It's amazing. Like when you watch the Ash versus Evil Dead TV show, there's still
that's all it is. It's just bottles galore of blood. I love it.
I know. So here's my question to you, and you might have already answered it with the one movie you suggested. So outstandingly, what is a bad slasher movie to you? What is that movie? What if I wanted to take it off the shelf? What DVD am I holding? Like right now, and everybody else, comment a bad slasher movie you watched and you were like, "What the?" And you couldn't finish it.
Okay, I know I'm probably gonna get some shit for this, but
I'm gonna get shit too.
It's gonna be a tie between Texas Chainsaw 2 and 3, and the reason is, dude, Dennis Hopper, what the fuck are you doing in that movie? You're not convincing a goddamn person that you are who you are in that movie. I'm sorry. This is the man from Easy Rider. Dude, it was like he had never worked on set a day in his life. Dude, you could clearly tell that was the paycheck picture for him. And that was the paycheck picture. And it shows, man. It shows. Really? We're going to clash chainsaws? What the fuck is this, man? Oh, my God. So
he's trying out the chainsaws.
Dude, that and then Texas Chainsaw Part 3. Now, the only reason I say that is because that movie's even more patently absurd than the second one. Now, my man Matthew McConaughey is actually in that one. That was one of his first roles. So I kind of have some love for it just because of that. Because McConaughey did that movie. He did a reenactment segment on Unsolved Mysteries, and then his ass got to Hollywood. So there's a little love for it in that regard because overall I like McConaughey. But what they did to Leatherface, now, you know, I everybody who knows me knows I'm in full 100% support and ally of LGBTQ plus community, but I'm sorry, putting fishnets on Leatherface was just, what the fuck is happening here? So I don't know. I felt like the first one was just so fucking good that I, to this day, cannot understand how anybody greenlit those two scripts and was like, those right there. You know what I mean? I mean,
yeah.
Sharks and Tornadoes is better than that. So I'm sure someone's going to rip me apart. That's fine. But honestly, that's how I feel in here. It's half objective, half personal. I realize I try to be as objective as possible, but there's a little personal in this. And I just, those two really just, I can't believe they exist. So
I understand.
Another long-winded answer, but there you guys go. Hopefully it makes sense. All right, Jesse, what do you got? You get a turn to rant. Come on. 20 minutes,
okay.
Jesse. Let's go. Let's hear it.
All right, here's where everybody's going to hate me right now. Sleepaway Camp.
No!
Sleepaway Camp was a 90-minute excuse
Jesse.
for a good plot twist. End of story.
Jesse.
I was so bored.
What?
I was so bored. I couldn't give a rat's ass about any of the characters. I didn't care. I mean, okay, the plot twist was amazing. I'll give you that.
They gave you the dick in the end. You can't not like the movie that gives you the dick at the end.
Don't say it like that.
No, it is. That's true. I don't care what anybody says. If you ask anyone, Jesse, you ask anyone who's seen Sleepaway Camp, what do you remember about that movie?
The dick in the end.
Answer. The dick at the end.
In the end.
Exactly. So don't act like that's not it. Come on.
And I hate it. It was so creepy, which gives you that, like, she or he.
It was
gives you that
weird.
Because I don't know how she or he identifies, because they never really get into the whole identity.
You're right. I don't know what the correct pronoun would be.
I don't
never delve into that. Yeah, you're
All
right.
I know is I got a blow-up doll terror face, like, like, and her dick is hanging out.
It's a great that terror face is frightening. I saw that movie when I was like 8 years old, and it scared the shit out of me. So I mean, I was just like, "Oh my god, what am I looking at?"
It was just kind of like, my dick.
Exactly.
like, look, understandably, here's the thing. I understand why I'm wrong, but I understand why I'm right. I understand why that.
This is personal. Yeah. This is your personal. So
yeah,
you're wrong.
it's just I can't watch it in good conscience. I can't. Like, I look at Carpenter, Wes Craven, Tom Hooper, and I look at what they did with their movies, and this just felt cheap. It felt cheap, but it had a good ending. It had a phenomenal ending.
Because
there was a dick. Yes. It's a dick. Listen, it's one of the few times where I can say the dick saved the movie.
The dick saved the movie, dude. Just like Piranha 3D when you saw it squiggle across the screen. That saved the film, man. If you need to save a film, put a dick in there. You're good to go.
That dick was the final girl.
Oh, excuse me, that was hilarious. Oh man, you're on fire tonight.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it was. But let's jump over to our next segment, and I can finally.
Do we have any comments in here talking about other bad movies? I see Tom's got a few.
Oh, there it is. Is awful, but really good somehow. I've never seen
this. I've never seen this, Tom.
Oh my god! So what's it called again? Was it Astrobiocide?
Astrobiocide?
Astrobiocide? I am like looking this up, and it is not working out for me right now.
I also want to give a quick shout out to my man Darren Paulson. Thanks for joining the live feed.
Biocide? Oh, yep. Shout out to you. I'm not even getting this. I'm not sure if I'm spelling it right. I spelled it right the way it is. Send me a link through the comments.
He corrected the spelling. It's corrected now.
Oh, it is? Okay. Aerobiocide. Okay.
I still don't think I've seen that, Tom. I'm interested, though. Why don't you post the trailer to our main page?
Oh, Killer Workout. It's Killer Workout.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Okay. All right. Ooh, this is basically like an 80s workout movie.
Oh, my God. Are you serious?
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm watching like some weird shit right now on my end.
Hey, Tom, do us a favor. Find the trailer, 4K preferably, and post it to the show's page so everybody can take a look once the show's over. I'd very much appreciate that.
Oh, good girls don't have to show it off. Okay, if they do, though. I guess that's like the tagline. Oh, my God. We'll have to check that out.
I need to watch this movie. I'll even pay for it if it's on Amazon. I want to see it.
Now, we're going to go into our next segment, but now we finally can kind of talk about I want to talk about my obscure. Oh, sorry, that's not the right one I want to do. So obscure one-off slashers. So it's not a one-off slasher, but you know what? I'll save it for my recommendation because it is my recommendation. So I'm going to save that, Tom. I'm going to save it, and we can gush about it, you and I, comment section style. But anyways, let's talk about obscure one-off slashers. These are the movies that they knew when to get in and get out and leave one movie everlasting. Just let that star shine in the sky. So when we look up at it every night, we go, that motherfucker murdered a lot, and we love it.
Absolutely.
Now, real quickly. So, John, what is and people comment your one-off slasher. So, what is your one-off slasher, John?
You want me to start? You don't want to start?
Well, actually, Ryan just started for us. Chopping Mall and Ice Cream Man.
Holy shit! I want to watch Ice Cream Man. Is this like a John Wayne Gacy thing, Ryan? I already am.
Almond Joys. You want a dilly bar? Here you go.
You want a bike? It's in the back of the ice cream truck. Yo, you got a bike in there? Sure, man.
Chopping Mall. I have to rewatch it. It's been a trip since I've seen that movie.
So I've heard all about it. It's just unfortunately one of those I haven't gotten to. But now that it's been mentioned, I will absolutely get to it. Ice Cream Man, I'm already sold on just by the name. So.
It is a freaky movie. Okay, we're gonna.
All right, so you want me to go first? You said, or do
you go first. You go first.
So I have two. The first one we already kind of briefly touched on in the beginning, High Tension, since I fell asleep watching it last night. Wow, you want to talk about an amazing film that's not only kind of psychological, especially with the twist ending, which is did not see coming the first time, which is great. It has one of the best opening scenes ever filmed in a horror film that I can recall. I don't want to give it away, but what I want everyone to do is when you watch High Tension and you watch that opening scene, and you'll know when you're watching it, I want you to come to our page and comment and just be like, wow, so that I know you saw it. You don't necessarily have to spoil it for everybody, but I'd like to know when people watch this film, because the opening scene, the psychological thriller aspect to it, the insane kills. I don't even want to talk about them because they are just so crazy. I will say there are some kills with everyday household items in this that I didn't even think about killing people with, and the payoff is amazing.
I love how this inspired you in a weird way.
Dude, it straight did. It straight did. And there are a few particular kills in this film that are so well executed, it looks real. I'm not even joking. Also, this is a absolute splatterfest film. So if you are looking for exploitation gore that's actually done realistically, but also has the effect of splatter, please watch High Tension. If you want to watch a fucked up intro with a fucked up ending that you don't see coming, please watch High Tension, because
this is turning. Is this the same as your recommendation?
Yes. So my two obscure one-offs will also be my recommendations.
Okay, I wasn't sure because like you're recommending. I'm like, all right, you start jumping to that.
So okay. I'll touch on that again. Thank you for checking me on that. I'll touch to that. But yeah, my two one-offs are also my recommendations. Now I know more people have seen High Tension, but the film I'm going to talk about next, I'm pretty confident nobody I know has seen this film. This film is called Murder Set Pieces. I've
heard of it.
It came out in 2006. It was a very, 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 very limited release on physical media. Very few copies exist, so it's extremely rare. It's extremely hard to find. Now, the rated R version is available on Amazon. You could fire it up and rent it right now. I will tell everybody here right now, and anybody watching this in the future, do not do that. You will be thoroughly disappointed because they had to hack the shit out of it to get the R rating. I happen to own the unrated version, which is insanely difficult to find because there were even fewer copies of that made. And my buddy actually checked the other night. I am not endorsing downloading films. I'm just saying this guy does it as his job for like the last 15 years. And even he couldn't really find a copy that was either good or connecting. It's very difficult to find. I happen to own it. Any of my close friends that would like to borrow it, I have a renter copy that I created. So that way, if it gets broken or lost, I still have my original one because it's that good. And it's the unrated version. Just like High Tension, I don't really want to give anything away on this film because this is probably the closest you'll get to an almost like realistic looking snuff film that is 100% fictional, written, staged, and shot. It is about a man's literal descent into madness and the killing spree that he goes on and how he struggles with his becoming his new identity, his issue with women, his issue with authority, and all of this is expressed in some of the most inventive ways I've ever seen killing people on film. There are also rules in ratings in films. There's certain things you cannot do in order to achieve the rating you're looking for. Murder Set Pieces does all of those things you're not allowed to do in other movies in its unrated version. And the first time you watch it, it's almost distracting because you cannot believe you're seeing this in a movie. And when I say that, this is coming from someone who's desensitized from all of this. It's very disorienting at first because you're not expecting it. And even if you're the most seasoned slasher viewer like us and everyone commenting, when you watch this film, it's just it's on a next fucking level. And it is probably, in my opinion, when I say the best, I'm not necessarily meaning like objectively the best or script or this or that. I'm just saying it's fucking the best. And the only spoiler I will give is that Tony Todd makes a cameo in this movie in a porn store. And it's a fantastic scene. It's one of the best scenes in the whole movie. So if you like Tony Todd, watch this movie. If you want to see an insane slasher that's going to do things that you probably will never see in another film, watch this movie. I cannot stress it enough, but you have to put the legwork into finding it. Do not watch the rated R version on Amazon or buy the rated R version because you will be thoroughly disappointed and you'll probably call me a liar. So it has to be the unrated version. Do not waste your time on anything else. Jesse, I turn it over to you.
I'm going to turn it over to the comment section real fast because Ryan Francis C talked about the ice cream man. He said one of the kills was he stuffs a kid in the freezer and goes, "Now you're ice cream." And it's incredible.
What flavor of ice cream? Was it cherry cordial or Superman?
Good question. Get back to us about that. And then Tom is saying Dale and Tucker versus Evil.
Oh, beautiful film.
Well, it will soon no longer be a one-off because they are trying to make a sequel.
I heard about that. I don't know how I feel about that yet.
I think it's a gem. I think it's a gem. Let it go.
Tom, what do you think? Well, let's hear your comment. Do you want a sequel or no?
I don't want them to screw it up. I think it's one of those movies where if you would have gave me that premise out loud, I would have been like, that's not a great idea for a movie. But they execute it beautifully. Oh, yeah. They do it beautifully. And I'm like, I don't know. It's kind of like it's like trying to catch lightning in a bottle twice. It's like, I think they caught it. It's amazing. Everyone was great in that film, but just like, don't mess this up. But if they have an idea, if they have a great idea that they need to do,
sure.
Right at. Now, for my obscure one-off slasher, the movie I recently watched, it's called We Summon the Darkness.
I have seen that. What is it?
It's on Netflix. I can't give you the plot without giving away a story, but here's what I'll say to that. Basically, it's about these three girls going to a rock concert. It's in the 80s era where rock and roll's the devil, and there's these crazy cult church people that are killing rock and roll.
I'm in already. You said crazy cult church people killing people. I'm in.
And I'll give away this one thing. Johnny Knoxville plays a sadistic evangelical preacher, which is beautiful.
I'm in.
He literally, I was like, as soon as I found out Johnny Knoxville plays an evangelical preacher, I was like, fuck yeah, I'm watching that shit.
Yep, I'm in. That sounds so great. I'm in.
it's on Netflix. I love it because the twists and turns the movie takes is phenomenal, and it's a they're cutting people up, they're shooting people, it's great. So check that out, you'll like it. And again, that's a movie where I don't think it needs a sequel. Leave it go. Leave it go. I think they caught lightning in the bottle. Don't mess with that. Don't mess with that at all. Now let's move over to our last segment because we're running out of time. Personal slasher recommendations. Now, John, what were your recommendations one more time?
So again, mine were High Tension and the unrated version of Murder Set Pieces. And I'll say it again, do not waste your time with the rated R version. Do the legwork. Find the unrated version because it will be worth your time. I promise you. I'm not making this up. Watch this movie.
You heard it here, everybody. And for my recommendation, I'm going to go back to Tom's suggestion. Where is it?
The aerobic movie?
No, Hatchet.
Oh yeah. See, I haven't seen the Hatchet films. I need to. I haven't seen them yet.
Hatchet is it's a film I saw a lot, and I'm like, I don't think I'm going to like this. I don't think I'm going to like this. And then I watched it. There's 4 movies, and they're fantastic. The practical. Watch the unrated. Don't bother. Don't
go.
Rated R. Get the fuck out of here.
Right.
R-rated. These are the people who made these movies. They love making horror movies.
Okay.
The practical effects. Watching them rip somebody's jaw out of their face.
Nice.
Or doing the thing where they're that.
Okay. You won me over.
Basically, it's about this like. It's a little bit like Jason, and I think it's tongue in cheek with Jason because ironically Kane Hoder plays this character, and
interesting. Okay,
yeah, and it's cool because Robert Englund shows up for a cameo.
Nice.
Tony Todd shows up. It's kind of an interesting, basically, and then God, what's her name? Danielle. She was the final girl in Halloween 4 and 5.
Oh, yeah, that girl was on Roseanne for a couple seasons. The next door neighbor that hated Darlene or whatever. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and she was great in that. She plays a badass. She's not in the first movie. She recasts into the second movie, which she's phenomenal. She outdid the first girl they had.
Okay.
But it's a splatterfest movie. It's funny because you just go, what the hell? Like, you see that death. Like, oh my God, are they killing someone like that? Are you ripping his intestines out and strangling the guy? Why are you strangling somebody with their intestines? They're dead. But it's like, mwah. So go check out Hatchet, everybody. It's free. It's on Amazon Prime. Tubi has it. Check it out. You'll like it. If you love the good old fashioned slasher movies, that's what you need to watch. Is that now Tom has thrown a few more at us. Terrifier is awesome with Best Clown Aesthetics. Heard a lot of great things about that movie. I'll have to check that out.
I've seen that pop up on lists, but I haven't watched it yet. So cool.
Tom, there is a 4th one. It's called Victor Crowley. It takes place 10 years after the 3rd one, just so you know. So check that one out. I think it's on Tubi or Shudder. Check it out. I know it's on Tubi, I think, so it's free there. So you got that. DJ from Chainsaw 2. I like the DJ. The DJ was pretty cool. Or were you saying that's Daniel Harris? No, that's not Daniel Harris. Yeah, the Candyman's in it. Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And I wish we had more time, guys, but man, we had a good time. Wait, hold on one second. We got someone else who got a comment. We're going to check the comment section because I want to make sure we don't.
Our girl Cassie Wallace joined, and she was asking us, "What do we think of Motel Hell?" I'm going to let you answer that, Jesse.
What's Motel Hell? I don't think I've seen that one.
I'll be honest, Cassie, I haven't seen it yet, but you're telling me I need to see it. So
Motel, I'm going to check it out. It's a 1980 film, comedy horror, directed by Kevin Connor. Wow. Okay. All right. Looks like we got, and it's on Amazon Prime, people, and it's a 71% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I mean,
good enough.
So we'll give that a spin. Thank you so much for the suggestion. We like when everybody gives a suggestion.
Hey, Jesse, real quick before we close, I think what we need to do is we need to compile a list of all the recommendations on the show today, and we'll post that to the main page by tomorrow. So that way everybody has a nice list to go off of all the recommendations. So
Yes, no, we definitely got to do that. And Tom, yes, they're in Hatchet. They're in some of the pieces of the movie. So check that out.
And if anybody who's been commenting, you can go to my Facebook page, or if you have my personal number, send me a message with the recommendations, whether they were mentioned on the show or off the show. So that way we can compile a great list for our viewers to kind of run through this Halloween season. So please message me, text me, post to the show, whatever you need to do to get us lists of the recommendations that we not only discussed today, but maybe additional ones that we didn't. We want to put a nice list together for everybody. So do that for us, please.
And John, send that to me because I'll make a nice graphic. All right.
Oh yeah,
Jesse's
a graphic guy. So there we go.
Halloween. We're gonna have some fun.
Halloween.
But man, that is all the time we got to talk about slashers. And people, I know we only scratched the surface. We could have gone deeper and deeper and deeper into the horror movies, slasher films. But guess what? Our show, it's here forever. So next Halloween, the Halloween after that, we'll talk about it. But next week, oh boy, you're in for a treat, folks.
Yep.
You're in for a treat because we're talking paranormal.
Spooky ghosts killing people. Woo!
Oh my God. Goblins, ghouls, demons. Oh.
Look, I promise you guys, we will have a certain degree of the show dedicated to those fucking Paranormal Activity movies because I need to rip on them but praise the first two at the same time. So
thank you. Thank you. Because oh my God.
They're so bad. The first two have redeeming qualities, but everyone after that is atrocious.
Cash grabs. Cash grabs all the way to the end. And also give you a little bit of a spoiler alert for what comes after that, comedy horrors. So we got a lot we could talk about with that, and I'm very excited. It's gonna be a grand time. But for right now, we got one more comment. Let's see if we got great fucking show. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
Right here. All right, and I want to thank Tom, Cassie. I want to thank Ryan. I want to thank Ted. I want to thank. Let's see. Did I get everybody? I want to thank my fiance Sarah, who gave us great suggestions. I want to thank our producer. All right. I want to thank our producer, Mr. Vance. I can't say his last name because he's secretive as shit, and I love that about him. It's just Vance, like Madonna or Jason. Right. Like, you don't need to say Voorhees. You could just say Jason.
Exactly.
And Max Rowland as our graphic designer for At the Grown Up Stable. But anyways, thank you so much for everybody joining us. Until then, I've been Jesse.
And I'm John.
And you've been sitting at the Grown Up Stable. All right. Thank you so much. Share, like this page. Have a great night, everyone. Take it easy.